Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Down Syndrome Center of Western Pennsylvania podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Kishore Velodi, and we have a very special guest with us today from the National Down Syndrome Congress. For many of you, you are aware that I used to be president of the board of this organization, and now I'm the immediate past president, so still intimately involved. And I can tell you that this is by far one of the greatest organizations that you could ever want to be associated with, and doing so many great things for the community as a whole, not just nationally, but even worldwide. And so it's so great to be able to be a part of the NDSC. And today we have a very special guest with us. This is the NDSC Convention Coordinator, Sarah Hill, who is with us today. And she's going to tell us about a very important thing that is going to be going on here in a couple of months. So Sarah, first of all, before we get too far into it, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and why do you love people with Down syndrome?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. As you said, I'm Sarah Hill. I'm the NDSC Convention Director. This is my second year working as the Convention Director for the NDSC, and both years have been virtual, so it's been an interesting changeover, but I'm from Alabama. I contract with the NDSC. I know they're in Atlanta, so hopefully I'll get to go see them soon. I first met an individual with Down syndrome when I was about 11 or 12 years old. My best friend's uncle had Down syndrome, and he would always be over at the house. And when I would go spend the night, we would play poker and checkers. So his name was Waddy, and he was one of my best friends. So he passed away a couple of years ago, but he'll always have a deep impact on my life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's so cool how so many of us who do what we do, it's not always a family member, like, it'd be for me, but it's just someone who touched your heart at some point and just changed the direction of your life. And I think that is such a cool thing that he had that impact for you. So I have to tell you, when I am sitting in a clinic visit, for example, in here in Pittsburgh, and I'm telling people, even over the years, I'll say, oh, you signed up for the convention. They'll say, what's the convention? And I'm amazed, right? Because you would think with such a community as tight-knit as the Down syndrome community is, that everybody would know. But why don't we just start with that? What is the NDSC convention? What happens there?
Well, the NDSC convention is a little bit educational and a bit of fun. So yeah. It's a way for everyone to get together, people that have similar stories and similar issues. And, I think just a way to get away from all of the other pressures of the world. You just get to go and have fun with families that look like your family and families that don't look like your family, but you guys have something in common. So I think it's a wonderful family reunion is what I've been told. And I can't wait to be there in person and feel that love and familyhood and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't tell you when we would have the in-person conventions, of course, before the pandemic, it really was a family reunion feel. And to have thousands of people with Down syndrome, or family members of people with Down syndrome as well, they're making up these almost 4,000 people all in one hotel. Like, even the people who work in the hotels are like, we've never hosted a convention like this, where it's just everyone is so positive and happy and glad to be there. And so, yeah, we really do look forward to that. But yeah, we know with this pandemic, we had to go virtual last year and then again this year. But I mean, in talking with you and talking with the team, there are some benefits, I think, to this virtual format. What are some things that you see as like, hey, this actually works sometimes better in some ways in the virtual format?
Well, yes. Last year, it was kind of a really quick turnaround from deciding to cancel the in-person event and to put on. And last year we did a 6-week-long virtual convention. So we turned on a dime really quickly. But what we did see is that with the lower costs, not traveling because it's no airplane fees, no hotel fees, no feeding your family for 4 or 5 nights. That we were able to reach a lot of more rural families and, families that just didn't have the money to travel or the ability to travel at a time. Someone might have been hurt or going through some other illness, et cetera. So we've really seen that our outreach and newbies are part of these virtual conventions. So that was really important to me. And then this year, when I started speaking to some of our speakers, they were really worried about potentially traveling. I know for you and other medical personnel, you were still on bans. So we still have access to the best speakers that we can possibly have. We still have a lot of interactive parts and a lot of educational options for everyone. We have, we're doing the youth and adults conference. The siblings have been putting together their own stuff. We have our general convention. We have our deep dives. We have all of the pieces of the convention, but just virtually. And so that you still get that access and don't have to travel and don't have to, come out that money.
So for a family that maybe is not familiar with some of these aspects, you had just mentioned several areas. So give me an idea, like what is the youth and adult? What is the siblings? What's going on in those areas?
Okay, so the Youth and Adults Conference is for self-advocates, individuals with Down syndrome over the age of 15, all the way up. So they have their own presentations. I think Emily Carswell, actually, she just got married, so I'm still learning that name. She's been putting together a really more in-depth program than I think they've ever had before. There's still going to be the talent show and some other workshops. So they're really excited about that. We have the siblings. So if you're a high school, middle school, or elementary age child, I think it's over 8, or rising 8th grader, or rising 3rd grader maybe. Then they have specific programming for those siblings. And I know you're a sibling, so I think that you were part of the original group that designed that conference, and they're still making it work today. So that's really exciting as well.
Yes, it is. And you had also mentioned deep dives. Now, if I was truly asking you because I didn't know, you'd be pretty scared because I'm going to be giving one of the deep dives this year. But for our audience, tell them a little bit about what is the deep dive? Why would somebody want to be a part of those?
Well, so our deep dives, and I think we have 11 this year, are really focused on a specific topic and really get down much past the information that you can get in a simple workshop. So there is a minimal cost to adding those deep dives, but like you're doing one, pediatric healthcare and COVID-19 and how that's affected our lives. We have Dennis McGuire, who's going to be focusing on mental health. We have Ashley Barlow, who's going to be doing some work on individualized education plans. We have our affiliates deep dive that one of our staff members, Tamara Pursley, works on with us and works with all the affiliates across the U.S. To give the information to those, local area associations. Just a lot of information that you can get where you can really focus on something. It's about 3 hours long, so it's a time dedication.
It's a deep dive. It's a deep dive.
To sit in your chair and look at a computer for 3 hours. And I know even speaking to some of the speakers, they were worried about that. But the information is so valuable that I think it is really important for if it's a topic that concerns your family or you, that you pay attention and sign up for that.
And I'm sure a lot of the speakers are going to do what Dr. Nowak and I are going to do in our deep dive, which is give a lot of interactive, as much as you can through the interface of the internet, some interactive questions and get things like that, just to make it enjoyable over those hours. But yeah, you're right. It is different, but again, reaching so many more families, I think, in this virtual way than we possibly could with all the restrictions in terms of people being able to make it to one location. And then, so that's the deep dive portion of it. And then you were talking about like just the general convention itself. So how many topics are covered during this convention, and what are some of the highlights you can think of, some of the topics?
Okay, so we have 50 workshops that are included in the general convention registration. We also have a couple of interactive pieces that we're still working on. I think Jim Mitchell is going to do us a cocktail night, so how to make a cocktail. And we'll have to send out a list of supplies that one would need. I've also asked him to make some mocktails for those of us that do not imbibe alcohol, but I think that he's up to the challenge. I think it'll be kind of a fun thing. Him and his son, Chess Mitchell, are going to be working on that with us. So that's some fun stuff. And then we've got the workshops. We're going to be covering almost everything we would in a normal in-person convention: medical updates, inclusion stuff, inspirational. items, a lot of PT stuff, a lot of how things have changed, even in terms of how you address some of the problems in with COVID-19. How have you updated what your therapies are? Definitely advocate information about both, what's going on in DC, which is always a good topic for us. How to advocate for your child at your school system. So we've got just a lot of employment things. There's so many, it's 50. So we're about to list them up on the website here shortly so everyone can get an idea of what they want to attend.
That's fantastic. And so when somebody registers for the convention, let's say they think, oh boy, I want to learn about all of these things or a lot of these things, but you can't possibly, do it in that short period of time. Will there be recordings available if somebody's a registered person?
Yes, of course. So you can pick your times if you want to attend one of the live workshops and in the cycle times. You're more than welcome to select one. If you get in one and you don't think that that's absolutely pertinent to you, you want to switch around, it's going to be so much easier than it was last year. You can do that through our new platform. But yes, every single session will be recorded and you'll have access to it for at least 90 days after the convention concludes on June 26th.
That's awesome. And you guys have been telling us a whole lot about the new system that's going to be put in place. Because last year, I have to say, you guys did a wonderful job in the midst of like this pandemic that we had never really experienced anything like it before, and discussions about, oh, maybe we need to cancel altogether, just to pull in all of those resources to be able to put that virtual convention on. But now with the extra time and preparation, I'm hearing about all these different abilities that people are going to have in this virtual convention to make it almost feel like you're at a convention itself. What are some of those things, like apps and things like that I've been hearing about?
Well, so that's the really, I guess, kind of interesting thing. So COVID-19's given us some stuff as well as taken some stuff away. And what it has given us is really a look towards the future of how you could be able to attend a lot of these conventions. As a planner, I'm getting a lot of invitations to how to put on a virtual event, et cetera. So we have contracted with Cvent, and they have the virtual attendee hub, which they have been working on all year. And so it really gives you a chance to select your information, have everything in a repository in one place. You just kind of go in there. It's like you're walking into the exhibit hall. It'll show you the exhibits that you want to see. It'll tell you when the featured session's coming up. I know, and we've had signs that the second cycle of workshops will start at this time, or you'll have an announcement, and it's somewhere similar to that. Just, we have this featured session, we have this, here's the speaker's information here. Do you want to look at their slides beforehand? So you have all of that information in one place. So you log in and it tells you exactly, what you've selected that you want to do, or if you need to change, it'll let you do that as well.
That's so great. So I don't remember if I've even asked you this yet on this podcast. What are the dates and how do people register? All
right. So it's June 21st through 26th. And we can go through the registration process on our website. So www.ndsccenter.org. And as soon as you log on to the homepage, I'm fairly certain there's a big convention tab. So click that. You can find out about all the stuff that's going on at YNA, all the stuff that's going on in the siblings conference, all of the deep dive information, and soon the workshop information. So I think Tamara will have that up before Monday. So definitely check it out. You can get a lot of information on the website.
That's fantastic. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to this year and being able to be a part of this virtual convention. So tell me, when we're on the other side of this pandemic, right, and this convention will one day go back in person again, and who knows, we'll have to talk about it as a team. Do we somehow try to do in person and virtual, somehow doing it together? Because there are benefits to both, but when we get back together again, hopefully next year, 2022, where is that convention going to be, and what's going to be special about it?
Okay, well, so since we had to cancel our 2020 convention in New Orleans, Louisiana, we have rescheduled that to 2022. So we will be at the Hyatt Regency downtown in New Orleans, Louisiana next year. I don't have the dates right in front of me, but it will be our 50th anniversary. And I don't know that many people understood what the theme was last year. Lagniappe means an extra piece of something, like a baker's dozen or something like that. So I'm looking at it as our Lagniappe year in New Orleans, because we'll be able to actually go, and it'll be extra special because we'll be going in person.
That'll be so great. It'll be wonderful to be able to do this convention in person again. There's nothing like it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, so anything else that we did not cover that you want to make sure that we address on this podcast? I feel like we've given a pretty good overview of the convention, but anything else that you would want to cover?
Well, I just want to invite everyone. This is a great way to get a head start on learning about our convention, even for in person, new families, young families. I know that the financial cost is a little bit higher than last year, but it is significantly lower than an in-person convention. So if you have ever wanted to figure out or wanted to know what goes on at our conventions, or wanted to see what that information entailed, I very much invite you to join us this year. This will be a very interesting year, a 1 week, glorious outgoing of COVID-19, hopefully. And I hope that in the future we'll be able to have some virtual aspects, but we're, limited with what the hotel can provide in terms of internet.
Of course. So I also want to put in my personal plug. I think that we get a ton of emails from this podcast from people saying, we don't have a Down syndrome center in our area. We have no way of getting any information. And so a lot of folks really rely on this podcast to be able to get information about Down syndrome and being able to take care of their loved ones with Down syndrome. And so I want to just really put it out there, whether you have a Down syndrome center in your area or not, you're going to get so much more information in this 1 week than you could possibly get in any other opportunity. Any other place, any other event is not going to give you the amount of information you're going to get from the NDSC convention. So really, really do encourage everyone to get your feet wet, get used to the convention this year, even though it's virtual, get used to the whole idea of it. And then next year, we'll look forward to seeing everyone in New Orleans in person as soon as we can get this COVID thing out of the way. So go ahead, Sarah. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
I can't wait.
Yes. Well, thank you to our listeners. Thank you, Sarah, for filling them in on what's going on with the convention here coming up in June. Our listeners, thank you so much for listening. We continue to get emails from you guys, and we love it. Please send your emails to downsyndromecenter@chp.edu. If you have any questions, be happy to help direct you. Like I said, I'm still involved with the NDSC, so happy to help direct you towards where you need to go if you have any questions that way. But until next time, bye-bye.